I'm with Sarah and Tammy, and they have a rig that Tammy pretty much built out in a week. So we're gonna get a little tour of their vehicle, but they don't want to be on camera, so you'll just hear their voices.
So the bed is from IKEA. It pulls out into a full-size bed. What we did was we drilled holes into the actual metal legs and then secured them down with an L-shaped bracket and attached that to the floor. So when we pull it out, it doesn't lift in the back. And versus some people who have storage underneath or just build their bed on top of storage, we decided to build our storage up above, which is where we keep our clothes and some of our pillows, and we were still able to do a little basket on the bottom for my books.
Nice, that's really nice. So tell me about your cabinetry. How did you make the cabinetry? Was
So,
it made or?
So the cabinetry, the middle one, just kind of folds down. It's a shoe rack that we also found at IKEA. The desk portion of it was also from IKEA, and we had to cut that in half to actually make it fit in there to make sure that the bed would be able to pull out. I bought some plain wood boarding, and I made the storage chest behind that at the very end, which is where we keep all of our power tools. Everything that I've built this van with is in that chest right there, just in case I need to redo something else.
Now, is that a refrigerator?
That is a mini refrigerator. We barely use it. It's supposed to fit 12 cans, fits more like 5 or 6. It drains the power supply that we have down quite quickly, so the only time we use it is when we're hooked up.
So do you get these storage baskets down from the top every time you need to?
No, so they are stationary up there. I hot glued them down, pressed them down with a board before I filled anything in there. They're really solid up there, and so you know, we have different things up there. Most of the kitchen stuff is to the right, and then some personal things and items that we use are to the left. The round spinny container there was supposed to be our sink, which would sit directly underneath that water jug, but we winded up using it for storage and realized that we don't really need a sink in here necessarily.
So how do you wash your dishes?
So we have a little basket right here with all of the dishes. My wife is the dishwasher, so she does all of that, and basically we just take this, we spray our things down with this. This is a Dr. Bronner's and water mixture. We also like to use, the Myers. We use the basil scent, which is really yummy, and so we have a scrubby in here, a dish towel, and then also some gloves because it gets really cold sometimes touching water outside when the temperatures aren't so high. And we just rinse it off with water that we store.
Okay, and how did you do the floor?
The floor we actually had a really great deal on from Home Depot. We got this for $30. So basically we bought the boxes of hardwood floor, which is what this is. I did the subfloor, I did the insulation, and then we basically just took a soft fabric and we kind of traced the outline down of the van, and then we transferred that onto the wood, cut it exactly how we needed it, and it fit in here perfectly. Nice. Yes.
So what is this big stool here?
So this big beautiful stool to match the sofa, actually this is what the colors were picked for initially, hides our loo. So this is where we use the restroom. We usually only do number 1 here, and we put a bag in for number 2 and dispose of that. And then behind the blue curtain, we have our stove and some additional storage. So our gas stove is up here. We have a first aid section. We have bathroom, my art supplies on the bottom. And then we added the secondary one for additional food storage right there. And that's worked out really great. And recently we got this shelf here over on the side that we found at Dollar Tree, or Family Dollar, I'm sorry, and that fit in here really nicely, and we have some additional storage space.
So you didn't have to just come, you didn't have to go and you know, you got some ready-made stuff and you made it work. So you didn't have to go from scratch making cabinets and having all this huge elaborate build out.
Exactly.
You were able to custom fit stuff as you needed that was already made.
Yes, absolutely. Now, the desk portion of it was definitely a pain. Like I said, it was IKEA. It's not always the best quality furniture. So I didn't realize that the top was actually in part cardboard until I cut it in half. So that provided a bit of a challenge, but we made it work.
I love that.
Yes.
Love that. And so then you just made 2 tiers by adding legs.
Yes.
And then having another shelf on
so
top.
Initially I didn't have those. I just had the little L-shaped brackets. I started framing the van initially, which is what that silver wood piece is. And then I realized that the walls that we were using was sort of like a bendable cardboard that we found at Home Depot, which was $20 for each little slate, and we only needed 2 to do the entire van. So I figured if I didn't have to put straight walls up, that I could simply just, you know, use this for what it's good for, and I just kind of attached a shelving onto it instead.
That's amazing. So do you guys have storage in the back behind the bed or no?
We do. We store a really flat solar panel back there, and then also a table that we Velcro into the door. And then we also have window covers. Right now we have our window covers in for some more insulation and then also for more privacy. But when we're parked somewhere entirely by ourselves, we take those out. We enjoy the views.
Awesome. So you had a map up on your ceiling.
We do.
How do you mark the ones that you've gone to?
There's little stars if you can see them. So we put little stars in the places that we've been to, and we hope we can add a lot more.
Awesome. Okay, is there anything else you want to tell us about your rig or show us?
There's one additional storage space above the cab here, which is where we have our heater, our portable shower, and we store our pots and our propane up there.
And I love the color scheme. I love how everything matches.
Thank you. Yes, I did want it to look like a home. That was really important to me. I didn't want just the bare necessities. I wanted a little bit of luxury too.
I love that. I love that.
Thank you.
And you're even using your side storage on your doors.
Yes.
It's already there. Might as well use it, right?
Exactly. Yeah, we thought about covering it up, but didn't feel the need to.
And who plays guitar?
Me, a little bit.
Nice. Did you paint that?
Yes.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
I'm going to have to get you to do a mural on my window.
Yes.
This is gorgeous.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing your home with us. And
thank you very much.
even though you weren't on camera, Sarah, or in the video at all, thanks for sharing your home.
Thank you.
All right, guys, I'm going to put their YouTube on the description box. Definitely go and check them out and enjoy their travels and see what they get into. Thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment below. And for more family fun, join us over on Patreon.